Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys have been well. Wow, we have a great showing out today in the comment section. Number one, the comment sections are buzzing. We have 51 likes, and we didn't even start the show yet. Before the show even started, people decided to come through, show love, and give us 51 likes. We do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I am tired. I'm not going to lie to you. Last night was rough. I went to bed at 5:30 a.m. I woke up. I still feel like I need a little bit more sleep, but I have a show for you, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get through the show, and then I'm going to get off and go do the things I need to do. But before we get started, a few housekeeping things I want to discuss with you, and I want to lead off the show with a missing girl that I believe everyone needs to be aware of, okay? So we're going to put timestamps in this live, so if anybody who's a part of the replay crew, if you don't want to watch this quick housekeeping briefing and this quick update, or rather call for help for a missing little girl in California, you'll be able to skip straight to when we start talking about Stephan Stearns. But I implore you people, watch the entirety of the show, because a missing child is important. It's just as important, if not more important, than trying to understand the mens rea of one Stephan Stearns. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the first thing is, listen, I really appreciate all the support that we've gotten in the last few weeks. This show has exponentially grown since we exclusively started doing true crime. In the last 3 weeks, we've amassed over 5,000 new subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Over 5,000 new subscribers in the last 3 weeks. We've also had some shows that have been very successful. But the reason why I want to talk to you guys today very briefly is that the members and the people who give super chats and the people who donate to the show are so important. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we have a very, very successful show that we did. This was on analyzing the DNA evidence for Stephan Stearns. Do you know what YouTube did, guys? Let me go ahead and put this on vibrate because it's beeping in my ear. YouTube demonetized that show. That show has over 30,000 views on it, and YouTube demonetized it. So where we were expected to get decent amount of YouTube revenue from that show to help the show grow. Remember, we're a new show. We're not an established YouTuber that's been around getting, YouTube revenue for 1,000 years. There are no Ferraris in the driveway. We're just simply here trying to build this show out and give you guys a quality product where you can learn from it. I would like for this show to be considered an educational show. I put entertainment as the subject of this show simply for legal reasons. Because, people could sue you for libel and all that stuff. But really, I view the show as an educational show because I'm literally taking the knowledge that I've amassed for almost 20 years of law enforcement service, and I'm trying to package it in a way you guys can understand it. And you could use it when you go to other true crime channels and you evaluate other pieces of evidence in other cases that will come, because there always will be another case. So even though we spoke about Maddie Soto's DNA report, forensic DNA report, in a respectful and professional way, just because we use terms, scientific terms like the male anatomy, we called it what it is. Guess what? YouTube demonetized the show. So people like Marissa Fontaine, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. People who are members like Lucifer the Dopeman, who's celebrating 17 months of membership, who's been with me for a very long time. You are the life's blood of this show. You are quite frankly, quite literally, the life's blood of this show. Lucifer the Dopeman with 5 Strategic Eyes True Crime memberships, gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Lucifer the Dopeman, for gifting those memberships. And Michelle Britton, Marissa Fontaine, Nancy Diamond, Andre Nicole, and Alpine Arts are all recipients of that gift. Thank you so much. So for the people who will continue to support the show and the people who want to support the show, please consider doing it, because nothing is guaranteed on YouTube but the support that you give your creator, your favorite creator, or one of your favorite creators directly. And know that we do need it. Every creator needs it, because these shows take time and effort to put together. And just like how we respect you guys to come on here and give you what you want, We're happy when you guys can give back and help support us. This really is not a free speech zone, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube has its own agenda, and its agenda is not what the people want, and it's certainly not what creators want, okay? Their agenda is satisfying their advertisers and squeezing as much money as they can from the content that we make. Because believe it or not, you'll go on that video and you'll still see advertisement on that video, but that advertisement is going to go into YouTube's pocket, not shared with me as a creator, as a person whose knowledge is being used in that video to make it so popular. All right, that being said, I want to go over to the next topic. This is big, guys. This one is big. Once again, we'll have timestamps, so if you the replay crew, if you don't want to watch this very short segment I'm going to do, you want to skip to Stephan's turns, you will be able to do that. But please watch this. Please, 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 please do. We're talking about this beautiful young lady right here, Alison Julian Chao. Some people saying her name is Cho. Some people saying Chao. Remember the face, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the face. Big shout out to Britt, who's now a new Strategiceyes member. Thank you so much for joining the family. We appreciate you. This little girl's been missing. She has been missing for a while now, for a couple of days. One of my members hit me up via email and said, Strategic, can you please cover it? They sent me the Grizzly True Crime video, which is excellently done. I want to go ahead and pull up that Grizzly True Crime video. Let me go ahead and take this and throw this over here. Sorry, guys. All right, back over here. I want to play this just quickly because Grizzly True Crime, she's amazing. I can't wait till the day, and I'm not saying that she's this type of person. I'm just talking out my arse right now, my ARSE. That's the YouTube way of saying my booty. I'm talking out my booty right now, okay? I'm not saying she's this type of person, but I can't wait till my show is big enough that I could meet Grizzly True Crime, or that I can interact with her, do a show with her, or just have a conversation with her. I am such a big fan of hers. I'm such a big fan of Plunder. I'm such a big fan of I forgot her name. I never can remember her name, but she does the coffee and crime, and she has the big glasses on. She lives in Rochester. She's married with a beautiful family. I love her storytelling. I love these guys. I'm a professional, right? These people are doing my job. I'm a pro, okay? And I look up to them. I admire them. She has probably never locked a perp up in her goddamn life. I'm talking about Grizzly True Crime. And I'm a fan of hers. I would love to meet her and talk to her. Not necessarily meet in person. Just talk to her and just pick her brain and just get to know how she thinks, because I think she's an amazing presenter. But I want to bring in Grizzly True Crime real quick so that she can give you guys some really good information. Something that she said, this may not be accurate, but it's important. And she knows it may not be accurate, in that it's not a fact that these two things are connected, but it's important. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I'm going to start from that, and then we'll take it from there. So this is important information. This is why it's so important that you remember this child's face. You go on a website that's been set up for this little girl. This family has set up a very good website to help coordinate the search for this child, and also to keep everybody up to date. So real quick, Grizzly True Crime, and then we're going to go to that website, and then we're going to go to the topic at hand, okay?
And a man on surveillance.
A man tries to abduct a 15-year-old at gunpoint near a school. That incident caught on video. The girl managed to get away. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia is...
That's 2 hours before this little girl went missing, and I was 40 minutes away from when this little girl was. 40 minutes is nothing when you have a car. It's nothing. 2 hours prior, a man, a psychopath, a disgusting cretin, tried to kidnap a little girl at gunpoint, but that little girl fought for her life and got away. And then 2 hours later, this beautiful little girl goes missing. I think that this is a connection worth thinking about. Let's keep going.
Live in South LA, where he spoke with the girl and her mother. Sid?
Ellen, it happened here 2 days ago in broad daylight. The girl's still shaken up. And the LAPD wants you to take a look at the surveillance video we are about to show you. Hopefully you can identify the suspect they're looking for.
Y de pronto apareció alguien de la escuela.
She's 15 years old and the victim of an attempted kidnapping. It happened Tuesday afternoon around 3:30 next to Figueroa Street Elementary School at Figueroa and 111th Streets. She and her mother did not want to be identified. The surveillance video is from a neighborhood clothing store. The teen describes that scary moment when the suspect went up to her.
Cuando
We're going to look at that footage again. I do want to say there are locals saying that the drive's actually more like 40 minutes. Could be 40 minutes. I did a whole long drive and I was looking how long the cycle would be. So you could be right that it could only be about 40 minutes away. Thank you for that. Okay, let's just look at the surveillance here. Okay, one more time. Look at this.
Victim of an attempted kidnapping. It happened Tuesday afternoon around 3:30 next to Figueroa Street Elementary School at Figueroa and 111th Streets. She and her mother did not want to be identified. The surveillance video is from a neighborhood clothing store. The teen describes that scary moment when the suspect went up to her.
All right, so people are saying they want the volume. They want the volume up. Guys, I just put the volume up while I read it, and I just put the volume up while they were speaking. Please let me know if the sound has gotten better. Remember, there's a delay between when you guys type and when I can read it, or vice versa, when I say something when you guys hear it. So please let me know in the comment section if the volume has gotten better.
cuando me lanzó la mano al cuello, lo que hice fue intentar soltarme.
She says the suspect put his hand around her neck. She says she fought back by hitting him with her cell phone. The LAPD tells us they're treating this as an attempted kidnapping. The victim says the suspect had a gun. Police confirm that.
Pero agradecida con Dios que con lo que ella hizo se pudo defender y salir.
The teen's mother, who also didn't want to be identified, says she
All right, so people are like, the sound is good now. Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's keep going.
thanks God her youngest daughter was able to defend herself and get away.
You know, it really hurts my feeling. It just happens a lot. You know, this is something that irks me, but I totally understand it. I'm not trying to shame people, but it happens so often where these things happen and people don't want to come forward or they don't want to be shown. And it's like, I understand that you're afraid, but you're making it harder for us in law enforcement to find this person, okay? You know, by showing her daughter and herself, I know that it's embarrassing, but somebody may notice the girl and say, oh, I remember when that little girl was tussling with that guy, and I remember what that guy looks like. You know what? Let me come forward and give some relevant information. I wish we could get to a point in society where when crime happens, people feel like it's their civic duty to 100,000% cooperate. I do understand how trauma works. I'm just telling you my personal opinion. I'd never subconsciously or consciously put that opinion on somebody else and judge them for how they choose to deal with their trauma. So please understand that I am professional and mature enough to separate my thoughts and my feelings from how I treat a victim or how I would judge a victim. That person has been through an enormous amount of trauma and they're dealing with it in a way that they know how to deal with it. But my priority is to get that bad guy off the streets. And that means you coming forward, you showing your face, you're doing everything you possibly can to assist in the apprehension of this person. But that's in a perfect world. And guess what? We don't live in a perfect world. Let's keep going.
Roxy Chavez is the shop owner who provided us with the surveillance video.
All right, so that's a terrible surveillance video, but I have faith that the police will be able to pretty much track this guy's movement and hopefully get better footage. I think this is kind of like all basically just happening right now, and hopefully it'll be able to get a better picture of this guy, man. This is very sad stuff. I want to go to the website real quick, and then we're out of here. We're going to jump right in to the actual subject matter of this beautiful little girl, or rather, we'll get into the subject matter of diving into Stephan Stearns, okay? So I'm going to bring this video back up again. This is a bigger picture of Alison. This is Alison Julian Chao, or Cho. Some people are saying Chao, some people are saying Cho. She's 15 years old. She's an Asian female. She's 5'2". Her weight is 96 pounds, brown eyes, black hair. She's last seen July 16th, 2024 at around 5:32 p.m. She was given permission by her family to ride her bike to, I believe, her aunt's house. These are This girl is a straight A student. She's happy. She comes from a good home. She's well taken care of. Notice that her family allowed her to ride her bike for in a half an hour's distance. It's going to be at least be a mile or something like that for a child to ride that on a bike. That means she wasn't overly sheltered. She was not, kept inside of her room, not allowed to have friends. The reason why I bring that up is because those are elements of what kids would probably want to run away from, right? But if your parents let you go out to play, your parents let you, have a social life, your parents let you ride your bike to your auntie's house, you're getting good grades, you're well taken care of, you got birthday parties with your crown on your head like this beautiful little girl has a crown on her head, that child is not the archetype of a child that would want to run away. I don't think we're dealing with a runaway. I think everybody who's involved with this understands we're not dealing with a runaway. We're dealing with a possible abduction, and every single moment counts, ladies and gentlemen. Every single freaking moment counts, to the point where I'm going to cut this out of this live and I'm going to make this a standalone video just so people can understand, hey, I'm going to go see this child video, this Cho video. That's how important this is right now for us to find this beautiful little girl. She's last wearing purple t-shirt, black shorts, dark shoes on a blue GT mountain bike. That's a very good bike, by the way. All right, let's go to the website. We're almost done, guys. Almost done. I know we're 16 minutes in. We're almost done. Marissa Fontaine says, my dad was in law enforcement for 45 years. God damn, he worked for a long time. He has passed away. God rest his soul. Thank you for your service, sir. I don't have him to talk about these things like anymore. Thank you for providing this. Well, guess what? I'm here now, and you're a Strategic Eyes member, and we can talk about this stuff together. Welcome to the family. This is your new home. If you need somebody to talk to in law enforcement about law enforcement things, welcome to the family. Let's keep going. So this is the website that the family has set up. Amazing website. I've rarely seen this before. This is like the last time she was seen. There's another video though that's from a different angle, shows her riding past. So she was seen along the way, but then there's a point where she just disappears, and that sucks. All right. So if you see her, please contact, or her last whereabouts, or you remember seeing her, contact 626-573-1311. You can also email helpfindalison@gmail.com. Man, what these family members could possibly be going through right now is unbelievable. The terror of the possibility of your child going missing is unbearable for any family to experience. As a father, I could not even fathom what I would feel and what I would do and how helpless I would feel if one of my children went missing. All right, let's go on. We need your help. So they have this nifty map here broken up into zones where these are the areas they want people to help search for this beautiful girl. You could download the map. You could download the flyer. These are pictures of volunteers who come in to help. If you decide to actually help out, you put your name in here, you put in the location that you searched in or whatever, so that they can start coordinating as to where they've already observed, the young lady, where they've already searched, where they've already handed out flyers, what doors they've knocked on. It's very comprehensive, very smart, so that you don't have people working over each other and overlapping on work. So this is a really good website. I think it should be mandatory for every missing child that, there's a way that people can easily and at very low cost set up this type of website. So this is kind of like her path tracker and stuff like that. It is what it is. So listen, please keep your eyes peeled and out there for this beautiful girl. I'm going to bring it back to me. I'm going to go to the comment section real quick. Somebody just sent a super chat, and then we'll jump into the topic at hand. So somebody write that down. 1900, we're going to be talking about, or 19-minute mark, we'll be talking about Stephan Stearns. Okay, so H. Sin said, with a $4.99 super chat, says, thank you so much for covering this, and I'm hoping we can find her sooner. As more people are aware of her missing, I'll donate via PayPal. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being so kind to the channel. And, thank you for being a supporter and such a wonderful person. And big shout out to everybody who has hit me up requesting that this young lady be covered on the channel. This is what we do. This is what we do. And before I went and dedicated myself solely to true crime, when I talked about everything, I still made the time to do a show that I used to call The Missing. Those shows may not be up anymore because I had to cleanse my YouTube in order to be monetized again, because I was being harassed and targeted by YouTube. I don't care what they say. I hit YouTube up. I complained to them. I said, I know you're targeting me. This is terrible. I had a half an hour conversation with a YouTube representative, and then all of a sudden my channel is getting tons of views and tons of likes and all that good stuff after I called them out face to face. I don't know. I think somebody was hating on me, some engineer. He pressed that button on my show, and then when I brought it to their attention, they probably did an audit on my channel, said, why is that button pressed on that guy's show? And they unpressed that button, and now I can actually get views and actually have a decent YouTube career. But I used to do a show called The Missing, where we would talk nothing about nothing other than missing children. And I think that's something I need to do again. It's something that's very important. So if there are missing children that you want me to cover, please use the email. That email is on fire. There's a ton of people using the email, and I'm getting a ton of good information on Stephan Stearns, on Madeline Soto, on jensoto, as well as Summer Wells and all types of other cases, including Alison, this beautiful missing little girl. So please use the email strategiceyes@gmail.com. That's strategiceyes with a Z at the end instead of a S, at gmail.com. Send me information, send me requests, send me salutations, send me highs and nice pictures, send me whatever you want. But most importantly, send me information about the children in this country and in this world that needs our help, because Strategic loves the kids. Let's keep going. Let's go up. Real quick, I missed a few things. Lisa Michelle gifted 1 true crime membership for the Strategic Eyes show, and Jenny B received that gift from Lisa Michelle. So Jenny B, make sure you thank Lisa Michelle for showing you that love. Let's keep going. Panda Plays gifted 10 true crime Strategic Eyes memberships. 10. Uno, dos, cinco. Okay, I failed Spanish class. 10 memberships. It's like even too much for me to read. Let's see if we go down the list. We got Clue Season got one, Naomi McEwen got one, Lindsay Dominguez got one, KCC got one, Gwen Pitchen got one, Robin Mayer got one, Patty S got one, Annette Munez got one, and Chacha got one. So a lot of people got memberships thanks to the kindness of Panda, and the membership is awesome. I drop a lot of content, way more content on the membership than I do for everybody else. So you're going to enjoy it. You're going to have a great time. And hopefully when your gift membership is up, you'll choose to continue that membership and support the channel so we can stay here for everybody else. Because remember, as I said before, the membership is the life's blood of the show, because they do demonetize my videos because I'm too raw for YouTube. But I will not edit those videos for money. I will not bleep out anatomical scientific terms because it hurts some people's feelings and they press the report button. We're here to talk like adults, and everything that I say, every term that I say is the actual term that we use in the business. That's how you talk to district attorneys. That's how you talk on the stand. That's how you talk with your fellow investigators and detectives. I don't use salacious terms to shock people. I use scientific terms, and apparently on YouTube, people don't want to hear that. People want to hear, oh, kitty cat and pee and all that little kid talk and his junks and all that stuff in personal space and private space. That's not how we talk in the real world. That's not how I talk when I'm on the stand testifying, trying to get that piece of crap, baby destroying, woman destroying person sent to jail for the rest of their life. You see, I'm trying to watch my words because I was really wanting to say a whole bunch of other things, but it's not good for YouTube. When I'm on the stand testifying, trying to get those B-stards locked up for what they're doing to our mothers and our daughters and our sisters, because I don't just investigate kids, I investigate 13 and up. There's a child's unit that investigates 12 and under. The majority of my cases are adults. Thank God. Thank God that we don't have that many kids that are being abused, but I do have kid cases too, 13 and up. So when I'm on the stand testifying to try and get this guy who grabbed this drunk lady into an alleyway and did some crazy stuff to her, or this stepfather who's doing crazy things to this girl when mommy's not at work, which that jensoto stuff happens every day. Like that's like the archetype of how that happens. Mommy's at work, she's looking for a babysitter because she doesn't know how to choose men, so she chooses a crappy guy without a job who could stay home all day and watch the kid while she goes to work. And while she's going to work, that dude is abusing the child. When I'm on the stand, once again, testifying to get that guy locked up and get him off the streets and bring justice to those victims, we're not using words like kitty cat and private space and PP and junks and stuff like that. No, we're using the scientific terms for those words. And when you use those scientific terms on YouTube, guess what? They demonetize your video. Why? It's not just because of YouTube. It's because there's people out there who will go and report it and say, oh, I don't like this. This is inappropriate, whatever. Why are you here for? Why are you here? This is not for you. Go to a different YouTuber's channel who's going to speak the way you want to speak, who's going to cover these topics the way you want them to cover it. Don't come here. We're here to talk about these from a professional law enforcement perspective. That is all, full spot. Now, let's jump into this. I want to start off with GHI, who did an interview with one of Stephan Stern's childhood friends. Because remember, we're trying to figure out how are we making this monster? And did the parents aid in the making of this monster? That's what we're doing here, right? It's our purpose, our raison d'etre today. We're trying to figure out how they made the monster. After we watch this very brief clip, big shout out to GHI for this excellent interview that he did. Some people, whatever, I don't deal with that YouTube stuff. I don't have no beef with nobody. I use whatever content is good, and this content right here is good. This interview is good, it's telling, and it's important, and I believe it is truthful as well, okay? So we're going to listen to this video from GHI. Please go to GHI's channel and subscribe to it and give him credit and watch the entire video that he did so he can have credit for his work, because I'm going to be using it as fair use, and I'm going to try and be as transformative as possible. But please go watch the original version on his channel, and I'll definitely put the link for this video in the description section, and the link for any other videos that we happen to play on this channel that belong to other content creators. You can put it in, well, put it in the comment section. And I want to say this, as far as my content goes, anybody can use my content. I would never copyright strike you. The only thing I ask that you do, which is a must, this is a must, you have to give me credit. That's it. You have to give me credit in the video that you make and say, hey, listen, I got this from Strategic. And if you have moderators, this is secondary. It's not 100% necessary because everybody doesn't have moderators. But your moderators have to drop links inside of your chat for my show because you're currently playing my video. So please, my mods, which I'm implementing this right now. This is my 10th commandment right now. So my mods may not be prepared to drop GHI's links right now, but in the future, whoever we use, we're going to drop their links. So you drop my link in your comment section just so people can click on my channel and subscribe if they like what they see that you're playing that I did. And lastly, inside of your comment section, inside of your description section, you put a link to the video that you use from me. I'm going to do this for every content creator that I use their content in my show. So I expect that content creators do the same thing for me. If you don't do it, I'm not going to copyright strike you. I think it's a weapon that people use to hurt people who are just trying to spread the message of getting justice. I'm not going to do that. But I'm just not going to respect you as a content creator if you don't do it that way. Because I'm going to do it regardless of whether you do it or not. I'm going to do it if I use your content. So I expect that a content creator, no matter how big you are, whether you have 10 million subscribers or 200, I expect you to do that for me, and I'm going to do that for you. And as long as we do that, we're good to go. You can use my content all you want. And lastly, Aki just dropped GHI's channel inside of the chat, so please do go over there and subscribe to that. So let's get started with this. And wow, this is a very telling interview. And then we're going to be jumping into the divorce papers and all that stuff and see all the trauma that this guy was going through, because Stephan Stearns went through trauma, believe it or not. He absolutely did go through trauma. All right, so now let's play this.
Let's get started on that right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to just like go through my mind and remember all this stuff, but it's detailed, it's deep. Like my mom and his mom like did horses together at our house, and she had her horse at our house, so I would see Stephan daily. This is before high school, kind of around the time like Pokemon and stuff was coming out. Really around the time like Game Boy.
Oh, I'm sorry I stopped it, but I got to show love when people break bread with the show. I missed this one. Kelly Davis gave us a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, Kelly Davis, for your contribution to the show. Let's keep going.
Color came out. We were boys, so I mean, we kind of became friends just being boys.
So what age were you guys when you guys first started becoming friends?
So we didn't go to like grade school together. I was being homeschooled at the time, and he was as well. So we didn't really, we didn't go to school then. During high school, he went to Cherokee High School, and I went to school.
Oh, real quick, I just want to address this real quick because I see a moderator who's also a member of the show from Guilty of Crime. She said, we drop links to your channel. I just want to make sure that this is clear. I was not saying that to Guilty of Crime. Guilty of Crime shows a lot of love. She uses my content at times. She drops links. She bigs me up. Not Guilty of Crime. I'm just making that as the law. Nobody has disrespected me and used my information, used my videos without showing me love. I'm just laying out for YouTube what I expect when people use my content and what I'm going to do when I use other people's content. Because listen, I'm going to use a whole lot more of other people's content than they're going to use mine. I don't look at myself that big. Okay. But yes, big shout out to Guilty of Crime. Big shout out to her. Really amazing channel. We collaborate from time to time. It's always a pleasure working with her. And yeah, she always does the right thing by me. She's an honorable YouTuber. So I definitely recommend everybody go over there and subscribe to her channel as well. Let's keep going.
Sequoia High School in North Georgia. But there's just a lot of details about my interaction with Stephan, just as being, preteen and teens, that he was a very strange, weird kid. Collecting semen in bottles to...
Wow.
I know, and a lot of this is just whacked. And the more I thought about it...
So when we're talking about semen in bottles and saving as specimens, what does that make you guys think about? What famous person? What famous person? All right, I'm showing my age. I like oddball history. The Hughes guy. The guy who dealt with the airplanes. That guy used to save his semen, save his urine and stuff like that. And what was he? He was schizophrenic. He was mentally ill. Now, I'm not saying that Stephan Stearns is schizophrenic, but it is definitely a sign of a trauma and or mental illness. Could be one or the other or both when somebody's doing stuff like that. So Stephan Stearns is a young kid and he's saving his semen. He's obsessed with that reproductive organ with his penis. He's obsessed. See, I said it again. Oh, my God, the show's going to be demonetized because I said penis. Sorry. Well, can't help it. Let's keep going. We do have our members and we have our generous viewers, so we'll be fine, right? So he's obsessed with his penis. He's obsessed with sex. He's obsessed with his bodily fluids. He's obsessed with what his body can do to females. That he can make them pregnant by ingesting his semen, that he doesn't want to feed that semen to women and to men he wants to give it to girls. This is where the beginning of that sexual deviancy. This is the beginning of that psychosis that this man is suffering from that made him eventually do what he did to this beautiful little girl, Maddie Soto. This is the moment when we were supposed to have an intervention. This is the moment where if he had responsible parents, those parents would have tackled this mental illness, this distress that this young man was going through. He would have been able to have therapy. He would have been able to work through this during that pivotal moment in his life when he is a adolescent boy going through puberty. And we would have a Stephan Stearns right now who is not in the media, who's probably a father of four, who loves his kids, respects his kids, goes to work every day and contributes to society. Why? Because he got help in a reasonable amount of time. This is the result. This man that we're looking at right now is the result of when parents don't hold themselves accountable and do their jobs and help their children when their children are in distress. Stephan Stearns did not have to become a monster. God does not make monsters, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of whether you're not religious or not, whether it's the universe, whether it's nature, whatever you believe in, your own business. The universe doesn't make bad things. If you're in a safari and you fall out of your car and a lion mauls you, the lion's not evil. God didn't make that lion attack you because it's evil. It's its nature. God does not make evil people. They become evil. Society makes them evil. A couple of different turns and the H-man from Germany wouldn't have been the H-man. He'd just been a regular dude. but life made him into the H-man. You guys know who I'm talking about. Very controversial figure from Germany. Stephan Stearns was made into a monster, and we're seeing it right now. Big shout out from Lucifer Dorman, who's a $5 super chat, says, I got to head out to the family farm and pick up blueberries and cherries. Have a great day, everyone. Hey, enjoy those cherries. I love cherries and blueberries. Enjoy. Have a great one. We'll talk to you, and we'll see you soon. Let's keep going.
I remembered, I'm talking to my wife about it, and then I'm remembering things from then, and it was just like, you know, he just collected weird things. He tried always making weapons out of weird stuff that were like concealable, like markers with, you know, nails in them, and he liked to make blowguns with thumbtacks and just weird shit.
Violent stuff, self-mutilation, self-deprecation, violence, weapons, degeneracy, saving the semen in the jar, saving the urine. It's mental illness, trauma. Somebody touched this kid. Rather, let me be more specific, because we have a man and a child on the screen. We know that the child was touched. Somebody touched this man. Somebody touched this man. This is a man who passed along generational trauma. We talked about that in a previous channel. Pass that pain along. That's what I call it. This is a man who passed the pain along. This is a man who passed on generational trauma. This is a man, I'm telling you, who was a victim of ex-abuse in his life. It could have been from his immediate family. Could have been from when the mother was bouncing around between the divorce that we're going to talk about later and he lived away from his father. Could have been his father that did it. We don't know. We're speculating. We don't know. We don't know Stephan Stearns' story. But his actions are not that of someone, and his history that we're developing right now from listening to his childhood friends, it's not of someone who just woke up one day and said, hey, I'm just going to go and, you know, abuse Maddie and kill her. It seems like he's been leading up to this moment his entire life, and he was set down this path by the actions of another. Let's keep going.
Anime, always into like weird anime stuff, very obsessed with that. His mom, that's a whole, and in another interview I listened to, the guy was talking about Debbie, and Debbie is an absolute abuser as well. I don't know if it went down the sexual route with Stephan, but just the level of verbal abuse, and sometimes we witnessed some physical abuse, was extreme.
Well, it looked like there were some court cases back in like 1998 about custody.
So yeah.
Right. So this is big right here. This is real big, because it doesn't also have to just be ex-abuse. It could be the abuse that he experienced from an overbearing, narcissistic mother. And I told you guys in a previous video, I believe his mother's a narcissist. You have a mother that's narcissistic, that everything revolves around her, that demeans you, especially if she's demeaning you on your sexuality, demeaning you on your masculinity. That could do a lot of damage to a prepubescent boy or a pubescent boy. A boy who's going through the changes to become a man. You have a mother that's downing you. You have a mother that's treating you like crap, a mother that's verbally and spiritually and mentally abusing you. It can also create the monster. It can also make you into a sexual deviant as well, because your mother, not only is she the giver of life to you, but she's also a female. So if the female that you love the most is the one that's causing you the most trauma, and the one that's making you second guess your very existence, you're going to develop a hatred or a lack of respect for females. You're going to start to objectify females, much the way he objectified Maddie. Did not care about her existence. He used her as a vehicle for his degenerate desires. So that abuse could also have been from his mother. This is big. We got a taste of the lack of accountability that the mother is willing to show when we read that email, and the mother is blaming everything on Jensoto. Now, we know Jensoto is no angel, but we also know that Jensoto did not tell him to do what he did to this little baby. Jensoto may have put them in a position where they could do it, but Jensoto did not force him to do that to Madeline. That was his choice, and he has to be held accountable for what he did to Madeline Soto. But yet, if you read the emails from the mother, you would believe that the mother has some inside information that everything is Jen's fault. And Jen should be sitting, forget about segregating prisons according to gender. Nope. Jen should be in a cell right next to him right now at this moment. That lack of accountability, that's something that she has been enabling in this young man. Well, he ain't a young man. He's around my age. This grown man. Since his conception. The narcissistic mother, that narc mom. So CBC gave a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let's keep going.
Stephan got ran over in a parking lot. This is what I was told. Ran over by a guy. I think he was 18, 19 at the time. Stephan was playing in the parking lot, like a Pizza Hut or something. And I guess the mom, Debbie was paying. Well, Stephan ended up getting run over. The guy was backing out. Young. He was like, the driver was 17 or 18.
I see. Okay. Yeah. All right.
If I remember right, he had like a lifted Toyota. It's because they always hated him and his mom always hated lifted Toyotas because of this. But the story we were told was he was playing in the puddle with like a toy or something, and then the man backed over and not seeing him. So then they sued the man and got all this money. But it always seemed like Debbie would remind Stephan, you have anger issues because you got ran over and you've just never been right. So she always like drilled that back into him. I don't know if like an excuse for her to be mean to him, or it just seemed like a revolving wheel of.
Yeah, I can see that. She could use it in two things. Number one, these narcissistic folks, they love sympathy. They love attention from other people. You have a child that is supposedly disabled. You can use that child for attention. And then at the same time, you could blame everything on that child. You could use that to abuse that child. Like he said, you were such a perfect child till you got run over. Picture that. Until you got run over, you were a perfect child. Now you're a piece of crap. You're a piece of ish. Now you're a piece of ish since you got run over. Big shout out to JoJo for Show. Gifted 1 Strategiceyes membership to a lucky person. I believe Overprotected 1111 got that membership by random. Thank you so much for supporting. And please enjoy that membership, Overprotected 111. Think of that. Picture that, people. I could definitely see that. And I could also see him now getting stuck in that kind of victim mentality. I didn't even notice I got this over here. Let me lean this back. It's another camera. We'll start using that camera pretty soon. Give us another view on the channel. Be cool. Be cool. But yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. This is what the narc monsters do. Let's keep going.
You're an asshole kid because you got ran over, and that's why I yell at you. You know what I mean? That makes sense?
It's so weird, too, because she probably profited off of that.
Oh, she totally did. And she sued another guy for some foot surgery, which backfired on her, and it wasn't even like a big deal. And then she claimed to be crippled, but then she would go ride horses with my mom. I don't know. It just none of it ever really. She just seemed like a total piece of shit. Just all the time.
That sort of matches what the individual named Chase, the first interview that I did, said.
Yeah, no, and I heard that, and I was like, man, just thinking back about Debbie and how she would talk to him, but then she would like, then Stephan would show up with like all these brand new, just released, toys, or like a Pokemon set or a Magic card set or figurines that he was some Star Wars figurines or just something that
So this also makes sense for me. First of all, big shout out to Katie Alexander with the $1.99 pound super chat, which is more than $1.99 because the pound is worth more than the US dollar. So big shout out to you for showing us that love. We really do appreciate it. So this is like kind of like, yeah, this explains a lot as to why he's a man with an arrested development. As I've said before in other shows, he's a man child. This really paints that picture, because his mother would, in my opinion, based off of what evidence we've seen and what these guys are saying, the mother would verbally abuse him. The father was an absentee father. And we'll see that when we talk about the divorce papers in a second. But then the mother would juxtapose that behavior by then spoiling him with toys, the same toys that he'll grow up to be obsessed about. So she would compensate her abuse with toys. So it makes sense that he grows up finding comfort in toys. It makes sense because that is his comfort food, if we could say that. That is his safe space, because that's the only time his mother actually showed him the affection she was supposed to show him as a young man, is when she chose to spoil him with these toys to offset the physical, well, I don't know if it's physical, but certainly the mental abuse that she subjected against this young man. It makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Let's keep going.
Oh, we normally just don't go to the store and buy all this at once. And he would show up with it. Of course, he's going to post it in front of me. And I'm like, oh, man, that's cool and all. And we play with him or whatever next time I would see him. So, I mean, watching that interaction was interesting. I never really understood it at the time, being the age I was. But, yeah, and then I remember multiple times where, he was trying to show me like a Hustler magazine he had gotten or something. And I'm like, where'd you get this?
Right, so Hustler magazine, this is straight up porn. If I remember correctly, I think Playboy was like a little bit more of a men's magazine. They showed beautiful women, they showed boobies and stuff like that, but everything was kind of like, their whole shtick was they got to be tasteful about it, right? They wanted to be tasteful. But Hustler, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I was very young when these magazines were out, but my understanding is Hustler was straight up peen, straight up PORN. So here's this little boy who's ingesting straight up PORN. Most of the issues that we have now with our current generations when it comes to sex is the unhealthy expectations that young men have when it comes to sex because of them being indoctrinated into PORN. Because you go on the internet and you watch people engage in the activity, and they're doing things that normal people won't do. I can't go up to your wife and ask her to do the things that these folks are doing in these videos. And so people are starting to get desensitized because they're watching, they're consuming this for years on end. So it no longer becomes as thrilling and as fulfilling as when they first saw it. So they start diving deeper and deeper and deeper into debauchery so they can get the same high. The mind reacts to stimuli like any drug you could take, right? So that's how people become drug addicts. They become drug addicts because they take an artificial substance that stimulates the dopamine in their brain, gives them a shot of dopamine that's unnatural, that their brain can't normally produce. They enjoy the euphoria, and then they keep chasing that same feeling. And that's how you become an addict of a drug. Well, you can get that stimulation without taking a drug by doing pleasurable things. Eating food can stimulate those dopamine effects, and then you keep eating food, and then you become 500 pounds because you're trying to get that pleasure that you derive from the food. The same thing comes from sex. And when we have all these young men out there watching these super raunchy videos where people taking it in every hole and doing all kinds of crazy things and all that crazy stuff, that's unrealistic. And then you actually go and have relations with a normal female who's not a pro, who's not getting paid $10,000 to do this weird stuff with you. And you're like, oh, this is it? This is not what I saw on, on P-Hub. This is not what I saw on X Hamster. I didn't see this is really. And then you start having people deep dive into this dark world and start pushing the boundaries and doing crazy things. And some of those things might get you in trouble. But this guy started down that rabbit hole from a very young age. Here's a deeply traumatized, possibly mentally ill person who's starting to view pornography, very raunchy pornography, as somebody said inside of the chat, before their brain is chemically, physiologically, and mentally ready to digest that type of activity. They're already watching it, consuming it, and being consumed by it. And they're already starting to turn into the degenerate of tomorrow, the person who will go on to abuse and kill Maddie. We see now the making of the monster. We're on the road. We're watching it. We're spectators watching the making of the monster. This is very fascinating. Let's keep going.
Where'd you get this? And he's like, oh, well, my mom gets them for me when my dad's out of town working. And I'm just like,
wow. Oh. That's ridiculous. So
I know.
Was he abusing him in some way? Or?
I don't know. Stephan never said anything to me about that. I think that if she was, I don't think he would. Just the amount of temper that she would go into. I think he was very afraid of her. Probably still is.
And how old was he when she was buying these magazines for him?
We were probably...
that's child abuse, and that's disgusting. His mother bought him porn magazines. His mother, his biological mother, bought him porn magazines. You know who does that, ladies and gentlemen? Groomers. Groomers do that. P-files do that. The only possible reason I could think of a mother buying her child P magazines is if she wants to soften him up to abuse him. If she's trying to get him in the bed with her when daddy's away being a salesman and she's abusing him, that is the only reason why I could think of a mother or a father giving their child P magazines. You want to desensitize them to the action of sex, and then you want to tell them, why don't you try that to me? I'm starting to believe, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have no evidence, okay? This is my opinion. This is an opinion show. I'm starting to believe that there's a distinct possibility that the poodle lady molested and possibly RAPE'd Stephan Stearns. I'm starting to believe it. There is no other reason. I've never in all of my career seen somebody give P magazines to a child if they weren't trying to groom that child into RAPE. Never seen it. And unless his mother comes on the Strategic Eyes show, the offer is out there, Deborah. You are welcome to come on the show, Deborah Stearns, and explains to us why she did it. I'm starting to believe she did it because she was actually abusing that man. Of course, he was a boy at the time. It's a distinct possibility. It's a theory. I have no proof of it, but it's a possibility. Let's jump back into it, but before we do, we got 365 people watching this live right now. Please do hit that like button, support the channel. I know my mods and all my members are in there pumping it. Please, members, you guys are the lifeblood of the show. Make sure that you're telling people to hit that like button when you see somebody new come in the chat. Show them love. Tell them, hit that like button. And the people who are just watching, just listening, some are mowing their lawn, some are cooking dinner, some are on the grill right now. Please take the time to take those greasy fingers and hit that like button to support this channel. Let's keep going.
13 to 14, because I don't think I had my learner's permit in Georgia yet. So probably 13, 14.
When you say he was storing like his own semen in little containers, or?
Oh yeah, he had this, and then he informed me that this was his newfound discovery that if you poured it into the drinks, girls can get pregnant.
What? Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Wait,
I wish I could make this up. I really wish this was not real. But he claimed that you could get girls pregnant by dumping sperm in their drinks, and they would never know who did it.
But that sort of implies that
you see that, the degeneracy? The degeneracy. Dumping sperm in girls' drinks to get them pregnant. These crazy theories. Who thinks like that? Nobody thinks like that at his age, but a traumatized person. Lindsay Dominguez with a $2.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for supporting the channel. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, let's keep going. Let's see if he expands on this.
He did that or something. Like he poured that into drinks.
And it gets deeper than that. So his mom's horse had some kind of joint problem in the knees or something. So she would have these little glass vials where she would give the horse shots every month or something like that. Well, he would steal those things and he would deposit, I guess, semen in these things, and then would take them to school and then claim that he, did it. And I never.
So he has like this little syringe thing that the mom was using, as they said. He'd put his semen in it, and then he'd go around school spraying it into girls' glasses and cups and bottles. It's disgusting. That is disgusting. That's literally a terrorist act, to be honest with you. But I mean, of course, he's not thinking that. But that's disgusting. You see how it starts? You see how the degeneracy starts? You see how you start desensitizing yourself to doing things against females? The lack of respect for their bodies, for their space, for their autonomy, for their humanity. Now, what if it worked? He wanted to have multiple girls pregnant. Let's say we're in an alternate universe, and that's how people get pregnant. He wanted to get multiple people pregnant, subjected people to whatever diseases he may have had. Who knows? But aside from all of that, look where the mentality is, ladies and gentlemen. Look where that slippery slope, that dark road starts. That path he's walking starts now. He's starting to walk down that dark corridor.
Believed him. I'm like, no, you did not, Stephan. You're lying. You didn't do this. And he's like, I did it. And of course, I never believed that. I don't really think he did that. It just seemed too far-fetched. And
doesn't seem too far-fetched now, though, right?
Well, see, I was about to say that. I said it seems too far-fetched. What makes you think it's far-fetched? Look what he did to Maddie. Look what he did to Maddie. I don't think that's too far-fetched. I think he's capable of anything. Remember, he did something very rare, and I'm going to stop this right here. We could come back to it, and I might come back and just do a review on just do a reaction to some of the other interviews. I think they're very fascinating, and I really do appreciate GHI for being able to get this. But I want to go to the divorce papers. I want to go to the divorce papers because I think that they're going to explain to us a little bit more how this started. All right, let me bring this back to me. This is crazy. This is insanity. Bring this back to me so we can set this up. You're going to bring this back to me. We can set this up. And I was going to make a point, but I lost my train of talk, but I remember what the point I was going to make now. And this is important. Thank God I remembered it. This is important. What Stephan Stearns did was very rare. And we got a new member, CBC. Welcome to the Strategic Guys fam. Appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member, CBC. And Chrissy C gave a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much for that $1.99 super sticker. Thank you for extending yourself to the Strategic Guys show and showing us the love. We do appreciate you. Thank you very much. What Stephan Stearns did was rare, ladies and gentlemen. Why was it rare? Because he did two of the most horrible crimes that one can do to a human being, to one person. Every day, thousands of children are abused. It's very sad, but it's true. Every day, thousands of children are abused. Probably millions are abused around the world, physically and sexually. Every day, or millions around the world. In many cultures and societies, it's not even against the law. If you go to the Middle East and you go to India and places like that, it's perfectly fine for an 8-year-old, 12-year-old to be married off and to be expected to do wifely duties to their husband. It's expected of their mothers, their fathers. They'll look at you and say, this is your duty. You're a female. You got married off. You know, your husband gave us 20 goats. It is what it is. The deal is done. Have a good life. I just read an article on Twitter of an 8-year-old who died during the honeymoon. Middle Eastern girl, married at 8 years old, died from internal injuries and internal bleeding because she's a baby, and her disgusting 50-something-year-old husband destroyed her from the inside out. And it's not a crime. He will find another young girl and pay 20 goats. And this is how horrible this is in this world. There's still cultures and societies where this stuff is acceptable. Okay, even though nature shows us that it's not acceptable because the outcomes are terrible. Children die when they're too young giving birth. Children die during intercourse. It's nature tells us that it's barbaric and it's inhuman, but people still do it because what? God gave us free will, right? So some people have the ability to ignore common sense and just keep engaging in criminality. And I don't care what your culture is. Nature shows you that it's wrong because the outcomes are bad. So if you're doing it, you're morally wrong to me, even though you may not have been raised to know that it's wrong. The fact that you know that you've seen girls that have died over these child marriages and you're still willing to do it, you're morally wrong. So whatever. The bottom line is, I'm sorry, I got lost in the sauce. But back to my original point. Children die. Children get abused every day. Children get killed every day. But rarely do you get an abuser, an ex-abuser, who also kills their victim. And that is what Stephan Stearns did that makes him so diabolically special. He is diabolically special because He killed her. Not only did he abuse her, but he killed her. He is diabolically special. He is the worst of the worst, and that is why we want to put him to death. That is why he is facing the death penalty. We're about to jump into the divorce papers. I'm going to throw that up behind me, but we want to definitely give a big shout out to Guilty of Crime, who is in the comment section. Thank you for coming through, Guilty of Crime. Let me see if I can find your comment here. You said, hello, Aki, and do some hand signs up, some gang signs up. I guess the announcement today is that Guilty of Crime is a Bloods gang member. Yes, they're a Bloods gang member. They're in the comment section throwing up some blood signs. Now, I'm just joking. Big shout out to the Guilty of Crime show. Excellent show. Awesome true crime channel. We got a lot of supporters who are who came from the Guilty of Crime channel to show this channel some love, and we do appreciate them. And we want all of we have in the last 3 weeks we have 5,000 new members, 5,000 not members but subscribers. I wish we had 5,000 members for the channel. 5,000 subscribers. If just half of those subscribers will find their way over to the Guilty of Crime channel, we can get her up to a much higher subscriber rate. I don't know if she broke 20,000 yet. We could get her to at least 20,000 and help her channel grow, help take her to the next level. So I implore, these 5,000 new people who have joined the channel in the last, 2-3 weeks, please go over there and show some love to Guilty of Crime. She's got a great channel. You won't be disappointed. I don't recommend people that I don't like. I'm not fake. I don't fake the funk. If I recommend you, it's because I like you, and I think that she is worth the shot for you to listen and see what she has to say. All right, that being said, okay, let's get into this divorce paperwork here. So I took a gander of this, ladies and gentlemen, kind of perused through it. And the way it's set up, the way it's scanned in, big shout out to Plunder, by the way. I got this documents from Plunder. I paid for it, so technically I don't have to shout out Plunder, but I will because I'm a big fan of Plunder. I love Plunder. I love her channel, and I'm a big fan. And she gets a lot of good stuff. And we actually have done our first FOIL request on this channel for a very interesting case. And if it works out, I don't know how it works, but if it works out, I think I'll have a really interesting show for you guys in the coming weeks, depending on how long it takes for them to get me that foil. But Plunder had this. I paid for it on her Patreon. It's now my document. I own it because I paid for it. The document starts out with the attorney basically trying to be removed from the case because she basically ghosted the attorney, Deborah, and didn't want to pay the attorney. So we're going to skip and go down here. We'll come back and we'll review some of this stuff up here. Don't get me wrong. But the bottom is where we find her affidavit where she talks about why she wants a divorce. So let me find that document. And here we go. Perfect. So this is basically like the crutch of the divorce, right? And remember, these people are so sleazy. This attorney did tons of work for her, $2,500 worth of work. And rather than pay the attorney what's owed, she ghosted the attorney. But let's keep going. Attorney for petitioner, Superior Court of State of California, County of Orange, RE, the marriage of petitioner Deborah C. Stearns and respondent Christopher C. Stearns. Case number 95, David 012184. I, Deborah C. Stearns, declare, 1, I am the petitioner in the above entitled matter and am personally familiar with the facts set forth in this declaration, and if called as a witness could and would potently, what's wrong with me? Competently testify thereto. The respondent and I were married on August 16, 1980 and separated on December 22nd, 1995. There was one child, the issue of our marriage. And some people are viewing it when she says the issue of our marriage as though Stephan Stearns was a problem in their marriage. No, this is legal speak, and it's basically saying the outcome of their marriage was one child, basically, right? So that's the legal speak for saying, hey, we have one kid together since our marriage. She's not saying that Stephan Stearns, the child, was a problem in their marriage, and that's the reason why they're getting a divorce. That's not what she's saying. I just want to clarify that because I've seen a couple of people harp over that language. So I hope I clarified it for you, okay? So let's keep going. Stephan Stearns, born April 25th, 1986, presently 9 years old. This is a very, very delicate age right here, okay? This is the age where a lot of kids get traumatized from parents' divorces when they get divorced at this age, particularly that 7 to 10 years old. When they get divorced and the children are younger, it doesn't affect them as much. When they're older, they're teenagers, doesn't affect them as much. It can, it's person to person, but this age is that uniform age where children understand things but don't truly comprehend the significance of them, and they're very reticent to change. Like, oh, I can't live with daddy anymore. What? I got to move to grandma's house in California, huh? I'm leaving my friends. This is terrible. And that's when they start acting out. So let's keep going. The respondent and I resided in the state of Florida until approximately September 2nd, 1995, when our son and I returned to Yorba Linda, California to reside. I returned to California for the purpose of having surgery on both feet and physical therapy. Following surgery, it was my belief when I arrived that I would live here for approximately 1 year in order to sufficiently recover. Since that time, I have discovered that our marriage has ended, and as a result, I intend to continue to make Southern California permanent residence for my son and me. All right, so it's never a good idea when families are spending a lot of time away from each other. I think the relationship was probably ending long before that. That's why you have such high divorce rates in military families and stuff like that. The separation does not help, okay, ladies and gentlemen? It doesn't help. But there was something else going on in this marriage during that time. The father was a salesman and he would travel a lot, ladies and gentlemen. And since he would travel a lot, he was never home. So even though I have my misgivings about Deborah Stearns, I do understand why, because a lot of people were also saying, why did she go to California to get surgery? Why isn't she just doing it in Florida? Well, I think there's a logical reason why she went to California where her parents live, because this man was never home. So if you have surgery and you need help because you can't walk, and you have a 9-year-old son who conceivably can't really help you do much. Maybe he could fetch you something to drink from the refrigerator, but he can't help you cook and he can't help carry you places or drive you places. You're going to go where you can actually get help, which is your parents' house, because your husband is never home. He's home for the weekend sometimes, but he's on the road, and we'll later learn that he had pretty much a brand new life with somebody else at that time. But let's keep going. Please hit that like button if you don't mind. Please hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. All right. The respondent and I reside in, blah, blah, blah. Let's keep going. Okay. 4. On approximately December 14th, 1995, the respondent telephoned me and told me that he felt that we should separate because he was unhappy in the marriage. If a dude is trying to separate you during Christmas, you know he does not love you anymore, or she does not love you anymore. Because most people, they don't even do evictions. They don't even do evictions during Christmas time in any state. You are the most conservative or liberal state. If you're trying to start an eviction proceeding around Christmas, they postpone it till January. Or they'll give you the order and say your order's approved, but the person has to move out after January, in January. So he chose December 14th to say, I don't love you anymore. My nose is stuffy, I'm sorry. I asked him why at Christmas time he had decided to inform me that he wanted to end our marriage. It's a good question. The respondent indicated to me that he did not feel that there was any appropriate time to end the marriage. He's a douchebag. He is. She's a douchebag and he's a douchebag. They're both douchebags. 5, I discovered the respondent had been leading a double life, one part of which he has kept completely secret from me. I wonder how she found out. I discovered that the respondent had an ongoing relationship with a woman whom he refers to as Pooh. I have found notes and cards passed between the two of them, a book which was gifted to the respondent by Pooh entitled The Art of Sexual Ecstasy, references to a commemoration of the celebration of a 15th anniversary. He's been messing with this woman long before he even got with Stephan Stern's mother. Before they was married, he was messing with this woman. Between the two of them, and interestingly, a necktie with a wedding design consisting of wedding cakes, wedding rings, etc. I do not know if the respondent and Pooh are supposedly married, and if so, if this marriage occurred prior to or subsequent to our marriage. Wow, that's deep. I would love to talk to this side chick lady. I'd love to talk to the side chick lady. So I went in and looked up this book. Didn't have much information on like exactly what it is because it's an old book. But it's basically a tantric sexual book. So it's all about, it's not about like wham, bam, thank you, man stuff. It's kind of like, you know, sharing energy and taking it really slow and feeling each other's chakras and energy and stuff like that. It's definitely something you're not sharing with somebody who you're wham, bam, thank you, ma'am in. This is like passionate stuff. This is like taking it slow. You go to meet your paramour and you guys are together for like 5 hours before you even do the deed. So this is definitely something that somebody who's in love with somebody would send them. So this man literally had a second relationship on the side. He literally had a second wife. Now, they may not have literally been married, but there was a lot of emotions there. There's a lot of feelings there. It was deep. It was definitely deep. So I definitely agree with Stern's mother on this. Based off of the evidence that she's presenting, she may be a bad person. Her attitude, her mentality, her mental illness may have driven this man to live in this double life. I don't know. But she's right in the things that she's saying so far. Let's keep going. 6, moreover, in looking back through bank statements and canceled checks for the past approximately 1.5 years, I've discovered that the respondent has spent excessive amounts of money traveling, on average of $800 a month in monthly telephone bills, etc. In addition, I have found ads in his personal items, advertising pornographic videos, dildos, etc. That lady was a freak. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that it's bad to explore yourself sexually. That's Harlem speak. She's a freak. But she was definitely doing things that this guy was not doing. Got a big shout out to Guilty of Crime with a $5 super chat. She said, I tried gifting memberships, but here I am. Great content, and we will cover this content as well with Mr. Strategic. Awful parents made a demon son. That's a fact, man. Definitely. And yeah, always a pleasure to collaborate, but definitely, they made a demon son. Let's keep going. And thank you for the super chat, by the way. Let's keep going. So I believe that discovery may be extensive in order to determine if the respondent gifted this woman with our community assets. Now, maybe I'm from a different generation, but I always find it odd when some women have an issue with their man looking at pornography, etc. I think if you're an adult and you can process these things, then it's your business. But I do know that some women think that viewing pornography, and you guys, you know, we have a very large female audience. You please educate me. I have my own opinions on stuff. I don't know you. I'm not your man, so you can't get offended. But I would like to hear from you guys. Do you feel that it's inappropriate for your loved one to watch pornography? Do you think that that's cheating if your loved one watches pornography from time to time, even though you're married or you're in a long-term loving relationship? I'd like to know how some of the ladies in the chat feel about that, simply because I'm genuinely interested in the humanity of it, how people feel about that. Big shout out for Jojo for Shosho with another super chat saying, we love you, Jay, and Guilty of Crime crew, hashtag real deal. Absolutely. Big shout out to the Guilty of Crime crew. Big shout out. So yeah, I'd like to hear what the young ladies have to say in the room about that topic. Let's keep going. Number 7, I'm astounded and amazed. I had absolutely no idea that the respondent was living this extensive parallel to our marriage. The respondent's employment has been in sales, and as a result, he has been required to travel a great deal of time. In the last 6 months of our marriage, the respondent has gone every week at least for 1/2 of the week. Prior to that time, respondent usually traveled during the week and was only at home on the weekends if he came home at all. Wow. Wow. I wonder why she would put up with that in the first place and even marry a person who travels so extensively. 8. I am presently receiving disability as my only income. I am unable to work due to the fact that I have limited mobility and a great deal of pain as a result of foot surgery that I underwent in 1990. Since the surgery that had caused the damage to my feet, I've had 4 major surgeries in order to try and correct the damage. I will be going into the 5th major surgery soon after the first of the year. After the surgery, it is expected that I will have to undergo physical therapy for at least 1 year. During this rehabilitation time, I will be barely mobile, and I do not know when I will be fully ambulatory again. Like, I know people can suffer from these things, but you can always tell when somebody is like just milking it. And, and I think I heard from the interviews that she was trying to milk it for a lawsuit. But you got 1 foot surgery. That doesn't mean you're not totally mobile. There are braces, there's canes, there's things that you can do that will still allow you to be mobile and do things and go places. But whatever. Some people live that life. They just want to stay home. They want to collect benefits. They want to, get lawsuits. They want to just live the easy life. I'm sorry, that's not for me. I like getting up every day and going to work. I don't hate it. I like it. I enjoy it. I love being a contributing member of society. I like that my check comes into my bank account on a regular basis and I can pay my bills and I can own things and buy things. I like doing that. I don't like living on a fixed income where I could, have to watch what I eat because I'm getting disability checks and stuff like that. And the government is only sending me $1,200 a month, if that. That's crazy to me. Some people are okay with that. They're perfectly okay with that. Anyway, let's keep going. Where did we leave off? Number 9. As a result of the fact that I'm unable to work and the respondent is employed earning in excess of $60,000 per year, I guess that was a lot of money back in those days. I respectfully request that the court order the respondent to pay child support and spousal support to me according to guidelines, and the fact that I believe that the respondent has the ability to pay. I further respectfully request that the court order that the respondent advance $4,000 in attorney fees and $1,000 in costs to enable me to maintain this action. I declare under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed this 17th day of January 1996 at Brea, California. Deborah C. Stearns declarant, signed by her. That is her signature, the one who made the beast. Wow. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. We're over 300 likes now. Please hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Please do. So now let's go up to the top here because we get that. They go to court and Stephan Stearns' father, Christopher Stearns, doesn't show up. He's a no-show. So when they go to court, she gets a summary judgment. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. That's what I'm looking for right now. Superior Court. I think this is it right here. Okay. So I think this is the summary judgment that she got because he refused to report. And I gotta tell you, people, if the courts reach out to you, go. Even if you're not prepared, even if you don't have an attorney, just by showing up, they'll give you more time. They'll explain to you what's going on. They'll give you more time. It's not like a judgment is going to happen the first time you go to court. A lot of people just don't show up. They're like, paternity? I didn't have intercourse with that girl. I'm not showing up. You know how many guys are made the father of a child that is not their child? The mother knows that it's not their child. The father knows it's not his child. He just didn't show up. Like, yeah, I didn't even sleep with her. She lying. And then I'm not showing up to that court. And then they end up being by default the parent and have to pay child support because you didn't show up. Show up, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you could afford an attorney or not, just show up. Show up without an attorney. Say, hey, judge, I heard about this. I've shown up. I've done my part. I can't afford an attorney. I'm looking for an attorney. I need more time. And then they'll adjourn it and give you more time. Just do not just ignore it. That is what Christopher Stearns did. He ignored these proceedings. And what happened? Well, this is what happened. Got a summary judgment. So on March 25th, 1996, this matter come on regularly for hearing before the Honorable Judge Pro Tempore James Park at 9 a.m. in the Department 601 of the above referenced court. The petitioner was present in court, represented by her attorney of record, E. Jane Garland. This is the attorney that ends up getting swindled out of her money. Based on the petitioner's pleadings and offer of proof, wherefore it is ordered a judge as follows. 1. Child custody and visitations. Those are the first thing that they deal with because it's the most important thing. I hope we can get to 400 views right now. We're at 374 concurrent viewers. Please share this, guys. Take the time to share this with your friends and family. Let's get up to 400. And let's definitely make sure that we hit that like button when we're doing it. Okay, let's keep going. The parties shall have joint legal custody of the minor child, Stephan Michael Stearns, born April 25th, 1986, presently 9 years old of age, with sole physical custody to petitioner, subject to respondent's rights to visitation at times agreed to between the parties. 2 other orders. A, all other issues regarding child support, spousal support, attorney fees, costs shall be reserved, meaning they're going to do this at a different time. So basically this order is saying, he didn't show up, so we're going to give you sole legal custody. But we're going to have to deal with child support later, because with child support, you got to get the person's income and all that. So you just don't choose a number. So they're going to have a different proceeding where they're going to do the child support. B, petitioners ordered that the show cause be continued to May 13th, 1996 at 9 a.m. at the court. And that's proof of service. It's proof that both parties were served, or at least an attempt was made for both parties to be served. So I think this is the child support order right here. Stipulation of order to show cause. Let's see here if we could parse this out. I'm never good at reading people's handwriting, so I'm going to try. See if we can zoom in. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. Let's rotate. If I opened it up actually in Adobe, we would be able to zoom in. Can we zoom in even better? Okay, we try. This is even better. This looks nicer. Should have been did this view. Transportation costs. So I think what she's asking for. So child support. What's it dropping? Oh. Whatever. I'll fix it later. Sorry, guys. Respondents shall provide non-refundable round-trip airline tickets to petitioner prior to all agreed-upon visitation between the respondent and the party's minor child. Additional child support. Respondents shall keep and maintain the petitioner and the minor child on health insurance. The parties shall equally share all unusual medical, dental, orthodontic, vision, psychological costs incurred on behalf of the minor child. So they're supposed to share medical costs. 2, the above support present is based on the respondent's earning. He made $5,281 gross monthly. And I hate when they do that. Like they calculate these things gross, like everything. It's not just child support. Like, you know, when I was poor and destitute and I lived in public housing, they calculated my rent off of gross, and you don't see your gross income. Your gross is minus your union dues, minus your taxes, minus your retirement, minus all the things that you have to pay out of your check. That's your gross. I think they should start calculating these things after gross, so you can actually be able to survive off of your money, because this is how guys get caught in child support court. You know, that's why you're supposed to make babies with somebody that you're really compatible with, so you don't find yourself in a situation. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like, you know, anybody can, any relationship, no matter how rock solid, can end. And, you know, people sometimes just want the courts to deal with it, even though I think that there should be a law that if both people are reasonable, there's no domestic violence or whatever, that people should work out child support amongst themselves first. And they should only go to the courts if they're at an impasse. I just don't understand how you can go from loving each other, raising each other together, and then now you need the courts to figure your whole life out. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't want it to make sense because I don't want to have to go through it. But I just know that if anything ever happened and mommy wake up one day and she don't want me, she's like, get the hell out of here, Strategic, you're bald. I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for a man with hair, and you're freaking bald, Strategic. I'm kicking you to the curb. My heart would be broken. But I would never, for spite, withhold finances from our kids. Whatever she needed, she just ask. She would not need a court to say, hey, give me this amount of money. Whatever she needed, she just ask. I'd give it to her. So I don't understand how people get to that impasse where they need the courts to force them to support their kids, or that they need to weaponize the courts to hurt somebody that they used to love financially. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I don't know, maybe I'm old school. I don't know. My mommy raised me right, I guess. Good, big shout out to you, Mom. You did a good job. Anyway, let's keep going. So he makes $5,281 gross. That's not what he takes home. That's before taxes and everything. As a respondent is currently self-employed, respondent shall pay to petitioner an additional amount of 10% for child support and 10% spousal support. So he's paying 20% for these two people, for the total 20% of the gross of all income earned by respondent above the amount of $5,281 per month. Additional something for child support and spousal support shall be paid quarterly on January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, and blank of the year, and October 1st of each year. Any amounts not paid when due shall incur interest at a rate of 10% for the due date, from the due date. That's a high interest rate, goddamn. That's like usury right there. What's up with this judge? Is that even legal? 10%? Goddamn. Attorney fees and costs, respondent petitioner for the sum of $1,500 and for his contribution for attorney fees. Okay, so we know now why they ended up not getting divorced. Because Christopher said, I'm with a psychopath, but it's cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper to keep her. Now we know. Because she was taking him to the cleaners. Because she took him to the cleaners. She took him, remember people, this is 1995 money. That's 1995 money. If that's money now, that's like $100,000 that he was making a year. And that's like $2,000-$3,000 that he was ordered to pay her. This was 1995, ladies and gentlemen. He decided it was cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper to keep her. So we're flipping through some of like the discovery stuff, like, you know, the assets, the money, etc. And then we go here to another order. Let's see. This is a matter of regularly hearing child support. So this is actually where they actually lay down the child support. This is the order from the judge. Big shout out to Guilty of Crime. Another $5 super chat. Appreciate you. See, that's the difference between a successful YouTuber and a new YouTuber. See, I'm new. I could afford to give you like $2. She just gave us $10. We appreciate you. Guilty Crime says, my mom thinks you're so handsome. Also, who wants me to go live today and cover my theories on parents' emails and these evil parents? Put one in the chat. Well, go for it. If you wanted to go live, hit the one. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. Let's keep going. This matter came on regularly for hearing before the Honorable Judge Pro Tem, Judge Granny Ward Hardiman, in the above referenced court. Petitioner was present in court and represented by her attorney of record, E. Jane Garland. Respondent was present in appearing in pro persona, meaning he didn't have an attorney. Based on the pleas submitted to the court and argument by counsel, wherefore it is ordered and adjourned as follows. So this is like the final one right here. Sorry, guys. All right. Child support. A, respondent shall pay to petitioner child support in amount of $774 per month, payable 1/2 on the 1st and 1/2 of the 15th. Commencing February 1st, 1996. Okay, so he was ordered to pay. I'm sorry. Got distracted a little bit. He was ordered to pay $600 per month, and he was allowed to pay to break that out $300 pretty much every 2 weeks. So that's the first thing, right? Big shout out to JoJo for show. Love Mama Perm. I'll try to catch the live B-Day. Thank you so much. Shameless advertising right now, guys. I love you guys, but come on. Number 2, additional child support. As and for additional child support, respondents shall keep and maintain the petitioner and the minor child on health insurance. The parties shall equally share all uninsured medical, dental, orthodontia, vision, psychological, etc. costs incurred on behalf of the minor child, so they're sharing that stuff. B, the above support amount is based on the respondent earning $5,281 gross monthly income as determined by the respondent's representative of the last 12 months. So it's pretty much what he's making. He's going to pay us quarterly. The transfer. So I think this is basically like putting in writing the order that we saw before. Transportation costs, respondent shall provide non-refundable round-trip airline tickets. So he's supposed to buy the airline tickets, the whole 9. He's supposed to buy all of that. Like basically all the costs were put on his shoulders. So let's keep going. What's up, sweetie pie? My middle daughter is here, just hanging out. I love you. Okay. All right, so here's the withdrawal for attorney, and then we're almost done, and I want to go back to GHI. It's going to be a little bit of a long live, and I apologize for that. It's going to be a little bit of a long live, but I want to get thorough with this, all right, guys? Because we're trying to figure out who the monster is, okay? We're trying to deep dive into how this monster was made, okay? All right? All right, so let's keep going. So the attorney wanted to withdraw. Withdrawal of an attorney is provided by statute. The attorney the attorney in an action of special proceeding may be changed at any time before or after judgment or final determination as follows. 2, upon the order of the court, upon the application of the either client or attorney, after a notice from one or the other. So let's see if we can, it just flips to another page. So I got to be careful with that. All right, it is generally recognized that the failure or refusal of a client to pay or secure the proper fees or expenses of the attorney after being reasonably requested to do so will furnish grounds for the attorney to withdraw from the case. Let's go to the next one. Further, the court is this. Wait, I said so. That's 1. I'm trying to figure out if this is the same. So this is the second document. Further, the court in Prince refers to Canon 44 of the American Bar Association, which recognizes that an attorney may be warranted in withdrawing from employment after notice to the client if the client deliberately disregards an agreement or obligation as to the fees or expenses. 3, conclusion. It is respectfully submitted that I be permitted to withdraw as an attorney of record for petitioner for the reasons set forth herein in accompanying declaration. So the rest of these are basically the attorney showing how they're trying to reach out to her and she's not responding. She's not, paying her. She's not taking phone calls. She's not answering letters, the whole 9. That's pretty much the rest of these legal filings and or evidence for the case, etc. So that's that. Okay, let's bring it back to me. You guys are amazing. Let's go to the comment section. Make sure everybody's good. Okay, got you, baby. Thank you. All right. Okay, cool. All right. Now I want to go back. To GHI, and I didn't timestamp this. And damn, GHI didn't timestamp this. So if anybody knows GHI, go talk to the dude and say, listen, bro, timestamp this stuff. Even I'm starting to implement that in my own videos. Timestamp it so that people can navigate it. It's very important. My shows that I've timestamped have even more better reception than the ones that aren't timestamped. So tell them, yo, GHI, timestamp your videos, because I want to get the interview where the guy talks about Stephan kind of like spying on his mother.
It doesn't. At the time, it just, I was just blowing it off. And it's not like I always wanted to hang out with this kid. When I was a kid, you know, his mom would show up at our house because our horse was at our barn. So, you know, I don't have any brothers or sisters, and there's a kid my age here. So, I mean, of course I'm going to interact. But he was always odd and collected weird things. And then I saw the Reddit thing where he's collecting Tamagotchis, and that doesn't surprise me in any way that he still collects stupid shit like that.
Well, how old was he when you guys quit? You know, when you stopped being friends, I guess.
We kind of had. I'm trying to remember what the big.
All right, so I'm gonna skip ahead because I want to find out. You know, I want to find even before that. I want to find the one where the guy is talking about where Stephan Stearns kind of spied on his girlfriend. They were roommates. This is when they were adults. But big shout out to everybody who's in the chat, who's watching the show. We have 349 people concurrently watching this show right now. It's a big crowd for the Strategic Eyes show, and I really do appreciate that. And not only that, we have 349 people who are watching the show, and we have 343 likes. That's huge. That is huge. That's almost 100% ratio of people who are watching the show and actually liking the show. So if you're watching the show and you haven't hit the like button yet, please make sure that you do that and you support the channel. And there's a little thing down there. I don't know what it does in the chat. It's like hearts and like 100s and stuff. For some reason, it soothes my soul when I see that thing like flying up. When I see people hitting the hearts and the 100s and the surprises and all that. I don't even know if it does anything for the show, but it just makes me feel good. Like, oh, people love me. You know, they're happy to be here. You know, they're spending their Sunday, excuse me, with Strategic Eyes, and they're happy to be here. So I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And just another metric, we have 21 new members in just this live. 21 new members in just this live, you know, people who have signed up on their own and people who have also decided to gift memberships. And that's big and it's so important and it's amazing. Let me see if I can gift a membership. Can I do that? Let me see if I can do that. Let me see. You know what? Before I move on to this, I hope you guys will forgive me. I'm just going to take a second to try and gift a membership. I think that's cool, right? You know, I think you guys would be happy about that. Let me just find my stream because I can't do it from this window. But maybe I'll be able to do it from this window here. But to do it, sorry for the echo. All right, so now let me see if I can gift a membership. Let me see if I can gift a membership. So it's asking me if I want to become a member of my own show. I don't know how that's gonna work. Let's see here. Membership gifting. Okay, so let me walk through just how we do it. Because so at least from what I can see on my screen, underneath the chat, it says chat, then there's like a emoji face, and then there's like a $sign, and there's a plus sign, and then there's a heart. So I'm gonna hit the heart because I love seeing a heart. So I just hit my own heart. I hearted myself. So I hit the $sign, then it gives me the option for super stickers, super chat, membership gifting. So now I'm gonna hit membership gifting, and I'm going to gift 5 memberships. So here we go. Remember, the memberships are given to people who are contributing the most inside of the chat. That's how YouTube determines who to give a membership to. So I'm about to buy it right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got 5 free memberships that's coming in for 5 lucky people. And I hope that you will enjoy those memberships. And I hope that when your trial membership is over, that you'll maintain your membership and continue to be a family member of the Strategic Eyes show. You can continue to be a part of the family. So let's see what happens. So M. Shaw, you got well, here we go. Are You Serious? M. Shaw, Christina Kane, Guilty of Crime, good for you, Guilty of Crime, and Cisneros, you all got memberships, gift memberships to the Strategic Eyes show. And you guys got it because you're contributing in the chat, and you're chatting away, you're sending super chats, you're being awesome people. So you guys got gift memberships. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope when you're done, you continue to stay members if you want. It's nothing personal if you don't, but certainly I try and give a lot to my members. I definitely make sure you guys get a lot of content, and I think you'll enjoy it. So let's keep going. All right, let's close that up. Let's bring in GHI, and let's skip over here.
Now?
Well, I guess the mom would have to tell somebody that, oh, my kid stabbed somebody. It's possible.
Yeah, and I think she would have told my mom.
This whole thing went down when you looked into your mom's. That was the end of it, right?
Yeah, we were almost I think we were 17 when that happened.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, no, and start crying. So it looked the same, just with a beard now. So I'm like, this guy's so stupid.
Yeah, so what was it like when you heard this news? It must have been really trippy. Like, wow, this is some guy that I just thought was, kind of weird, but we hung out.
Yeah, and then I think about it, and I'm like, I can see it. I can see this guy getting so obsessed with something and it engulfing him, and now it's led him down this path where he's at now. This is where these obsessions just take over.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, but then again, I'm not. And then the stupidity of throwing shit in dumpsters. It's like, what an idiot.
And how many years did you guys actually know each other for? About
how many years?
Yeah, how old was he when this whole thing went down? When you looked into your mom's, that was the end of it, right?
Yeah, we were almost. I think we were 17 when that happened.
So had he dated any girls at school?
He did. I just don't remember who they were. And I tried to remember this the other day because I was like, man, I wonder what these girls are thinking. But I just can't remember any of them. I didn't know them either. But after the whole gun thing, my dad almost shooting this kid on our property for being a weirdo. There was no.
Well, I'm saying he said what these girls were thinking, but you was friends with him, bro. You was friends with him for a very long time. I know he's kind of downplayed it, like, oh well, the mother kept her horse in our barn, so I was young, and so we just ended up friends. But you were actually friends with him for a very long time. So I wouldn't, victim. Well, I wouldn't say victim blame because they weren't necessarily victims. I wouldn't blame these girls like there's something wrong with them. You fell under the same spell that they fell under. Kids are weird when they're young. Really, it's the people who are closest to him who should have known that something was wrong and should have really put their self out there to try and get him help, namely his parents. His parents, they had a job to get Stephan Stern's help when he needed it, when he was so young. But I certainly wouldn't blame the girls like this guy just did. Sheila Smith with a $5 super chat says, you're doing a good job, and I really do appreciate that. And I'm going to go over to this other screen so I could thumbs up your comment here, your great job you gave me. There we go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Sheila. So let's keep going.
No interaction.
I want to get out of here.
Okay, so maybe you can give us the timeline. Like when you met him like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And was he dating Jen at that point?
No, they were split up at that point.
Okay, so he's known her for many years. Like I think he said 6 years.
Yeah, he's known her for a decent amount of time.
And it seems like, though, even on his Reddit post, he referred to Madeline as his stepdaughter. So they must have considered each other like, husband and wife when they were living together, how they referred to each other. But then later on, it was boyfriend. And it's strange because she allowed him to, the mother allowed him to come back to give her a ride to school for some reason.
Well, yeah, he was like, okay, this is what didn't make sense to me either. Like, there's something like when because we hung out 2 weekends or a weekend before this all transpired. I introduced him to a couple friends. My friends liked him. He was on the outside, a normal person. And, like a very giving person. Like you wouldn't think this if you met him. But if out of this was take this whole thing out of the conclusion,
mm-hmm.
you wouldn't think so. You just think the guy had a social problem and he was a nerd and he kept to himself.
So it was kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, basically.
All right, so this one was interesting, but it's not as probative in my mind because this is him recently knowing Stephan, and I already listened to that interview and he didn't really say anything that really stood out. I want to get to the childhood, the adult roommates. That's what I want. I want the adult roommates. See if we can find out.
That was the reason that I thought that I was told.
Well, I guess that's true. The birthday party was the night.
If you're already broken up with this woman, why the heck would she be letting you bring random women to her house?
Right.
So it's just a lie. It was 100% a lie, just to look cool and maybe not seem normal.
And here's the thing: it might just be you that thinks that they broke up because he told you that. Because she referred to him as her boyfriend. She didn't say ex-boyfriend when she was talking.
Yeah, but I've been in his room one time, and it just seemed like a disorganized mess for someone who takes Adderall. So.
And so this was at the room at his mom's house, parents' house.
Yeah, his mom and dad's house. Yes.
Stella with a $5 super chat says, "Strategic Eyes, keep going." Let's keep going. Kimmy Lou with a new membership for the Strategic Eyes Show. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Kimmy Lou. Appreciate you. Let's keep going.
I don't know what happened to his vehicle because he was driving his dad's car. That's whose car that was his father's car, that Lincoln, the MKZ.
Okay. And so when you guys met, he met up with your other friends. They all thought he was pretty normal and cool and everything.
Yeah. Like when I didn't find.
All right, so somebody said reduce the speed. I'm gonna put it normal. It was already set at that for a different video that I did. It basically protects you from copyright strikes. But GHI is not copyright striking anybody from my understanding. And certainly I give him all credit, and I definitely encourage you guys once again to go over to his channel and subscribe to him. Please do. You should listen to all true crimers and pick what you want out of it and leave the rest. We all have our own opinions. We all have our own ways of presenting these stories to you. So please do show him love. And at the very least, even if you don't want to subscribe to him, please go and watch the entirety of this video to give him the credit and the views for his hard work. So, you know, I've used his videos before and he has not copyright striked me, and I appreciate that. So please do show him the love he deserves, because he's being very generous, because I think this is exclusive. I don't think other people have gotten these interviews. I think only GHI has gotten these interviews. So without his interview, we don't have this information. Let's keep going.
Find out about this till yesterday around 3 or 4 o'clock.
So,
yeah, I was smoking a cigarette on my back porch, and I just was like, all right, let me look through some Google News. So I did, and I looked.
All right.
16. So we were like in the car on my 16th birthday. Started school in California there, and you know, one of my first days in computer class, he sat next to me, and you know, we got to talking, and he smoked pot, and I smoked pot, and we decided we were going to go smoke some pot.
So like that's the second time that I've heard that from a ex-friend of Stephan Stern's. It was like, oh, you know, the other guy was like, yeah, you know, I met him inside of the game store, and you know, he smokes pot and I smoke pot. So it was like, all right, let's hang out. Like, does pot really make people bond like that? Like, does smoking pot really make you like, I don't know, like just get down with people? Like, hey, you smoke pot? Yeah, let's rock and roll, man. Let's go. Like, I don't need to know nothing else about you. All I know is you smoke the ganja. Now let's be best friends. It's very weird. I don't know. I've never smoked pot before. I've never been into any of that stuff. Weird. I don't know.
yeah.
And, you know, we just kind of were attached at the hip after that. We went everywhere together, did everything together, until, you know, when he moved to Florida.
This is funny. Listen, you guys know I don't like putting people down unless you're a perp. If you're a perp, you'll get no respect from me. I'll spend my entire show telling you how much of a piece of ish you are, because I don't like perps, okay? It is what it is. But I try not to talk down on regular people who are non-perps. This is really funny. Alpine Art says, these dorks are the type to tell everyone that they smoke pot. Let's be honest here, okay? I'm pretty sure after saying this comment, none of these people will come on the Strategiceyes show and do an interview with me. And that's okay, because GHI did a great interview, so we got everything we need from GHI. These guys are dorks. These dudes are straight up dorks. They're nerds. They're counterculture, really lame loser type people. All of them. Just listen to them, whatever. No disrespect to them, but in my opinion, maybe I'm a machismo, you know, Harlem dude, you know, from New York City, Harlem machismo dude, and they'll probably say that I'm a ignoramus. I get it. I accept it. I own it. But I would never hang out with any of these dudes, not even just the Stephan Sterns, any of his homies. They're all dorks. I would never laugh at any of their jokes. They're corny. These are really corny dudes, man. But anyway, let's keep going. I'm sorry. I'm being an ignoramus. It is what it is. I accept when I'm an ignoramus. I own it. It is what it is. Don't listen to what I just said in the last 3 minutes. That was total ignorance. I accept it. I own it. I'm an ignorant bastard. But anyway, let's keep going. Big shout out to Best Life, Happy Life, who's now a Strategiceyes member. Thank you so much for joining the membership, being a part of the family. You are amazing. Let's keep going.
That's when you know, there was some separation there. Him and his family moved to Florida, and you know, I was missing him. He was gone for a few weeks, and decided I was going to go visit. So I got a plane ticket, went out there to visit. I ended up meeting a girl, which, you know, he had introduced me to. He had met her first. But I ended up moving to Florida and moving in with him and his parents in Florida.
All right, so this guy actually moved in with Stephan Sterns and his parents. These guys are really close. All right. And I want to say this one more time. I say this almost every time that I look at these photos. These photos are shopped. They're Photoshopped, but not by Photoshop. They're like, TikTok, those smoothing out skins and all that stuff. Like, these aren't real photos of Stephan Stearns. He rarely took photos that he did not augment to make himself look more desirable, more attractive. I've shown many times on my channel what Stephan Stearns really looks like. All right. The perp photos that you see issued from law enforcement with the dark circles around his eyes, that is how, with the beady eyes, that is how Stephan Stearns really looks. And when he was a young man, the photo that I shows with the big bulging eyes and all that, that is how Stephan Stearns really looked when he was a young man. He got the beady eyes now because he's stressed out. But when he's not stressed out and his eyes are open, it's these big beady eyes that, that I showed you. These photos like this are all fake. Every time you see him selfieing himself, please know that he has gone into the software of TikTok and Instagram or whatever he's using, and he's softened his face, softened his skin tone, whitened his skin, and made his eyes look much better. They're all fake because Stephan Stearns is a freaking ugly ass weirdo. And I'm sorry to say it like that. I know the YouTube gods are going to come down from Mount Everest, from Mount Olympia, and crush me. I get it. I get the YouTube moderators are going to crush me because I called Stephan Stearns an ugly ass individual. I'm sorry. I use bad language, but it's the truth. He's ugly. He's ugly in his spirit. He's ugly in his soul. He's ugly in reality, in his personality, in his face, in his figure. He is an ugly human being. I'm sorry. I hate you, Stephan Stearns. Let's keep going.
Stayed there for, I don't know, I think it was about 6 months, some of the summertime, and then started senior year of high school there with him. And then I met my father after being separated from him for like 7 years. And got in touch with him, and he lived in Wisconsin, and I went to visit them, went to visit my dad in Wisconsin and meet him, and then came back to Florida. And when I got back to Florida, I was informed that I was no longer welcome at the house, that I was this druggy kid, and I was a bad influence on everybody around me.
Maybe you were. You was smoking weed and all that stuff. I mean, Stephan was doing it too, but it's one thing when my son is smoking crack and weed and all that stuff. It's another thing when he's bringing his homie around and he's doing the same thing. Come on, let's be serious here. Big shout out to Christina Jade from Brooklyn. Big shout out to BK. Always love my BK folks. You know what I mean? Funny thing about Brooklyn, when I was growing up, Brooklyn was so violent and so gangster that I dated Brooklyn girls. They're always the most fun. If I could say that in a respectful way. But I never went to Brooklyn. So I always had those instructions on how to get on that A train because, we didn't have cell phones back then. Get on the A train, get off on 125th Street and walk this way. You know what I mean? I was never getting on that A train and meeting you in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was too gangster for me. You know what I mean? Big shout out to you. Much love for all my folks in New York City. And somebody else from Scotland. I want to show you some love. M. Shaw, really like your show, your straightforward approach, all the way from Scotland. And M. Shaw is also a Strategiceyes member. So thank you so much for viewing us from so far away. I know we got different time zones, so this may not even be a convenient time for you to be watching the show. So I appreciate you supporting the channel. And other than that, you're also a member of the Strategiceyes show. So thank you so much for being a member. All right, let's keep going. Yep, let's keep going.
And his mom had purchased me a plane ticket to go, I forget, it was his mom or my girlfriend at the time's mom had purchased me a plane ticket to go back to my dad's house and live with him. And that's what happened. And since then, we've had, not a whole lot of interaction. I'd say we've talked to here and there a few times.
All right. Let's move forward. And the thing is, like, he put them together, and he's got like part 2 and stuff like that. So it definitely can be time stamped. Let's go.
Like I said, not even like a year ago, he had reached out to my ex-wife, and I had told a friend like that I was telling this about. I told the friend, look, well, at least I know this guy, you know, at least I don't have
Wait, he reached out to his ex-wife. What?
to worry about my wife, you know, bringing my kids to meet her new boyfriend.
First, let's do is the beta male. Absolute beta male. Stephan Stearns is trying to smash your ex-wife, and you're telling another friend, this is supposed to be your friend, right? A person that you grew up with, right? He backstabs you and tries to reach out to your ex-wife that you had children with so he can smash her. And you're telling another friend, well, at least it's somebody I know. At least I don't have to worry about her bringing some stranger guy. What? First of all, you're wrong, because this is the worst dude that you would want around your children, because this is the guy that actually abused your children. But to accept that, like, listen, I'm once again, maybe my toxic masculinity is talking again. It is what it is. I'm not saying that I would bring violence or something like that. That is your ex-wife, and she can be with whoever the hell she wants to be with. But I would at least have a conversation with him. I wouldn't have a conversation with her because it's her life. But if you're my friend, you owe loyalty to me. I would have a conversation with you. I'd be like, yo, Stephan, what's going on? Why are you trying to hook up with my ex-wife? Like, you're supposed to be my friend. What's going on? Once again, I'm not advocating violence. I would just say you're not my friend anymore. Maybe other things I won't talk about on YouTube, but that's an issue there. The fact that he is so accepting of it is just really beta male stuff coming from this guy. But I want to back it up a little bit and see, like, the context of this.
And you know, he knows karate or whatever. I think he was got a black belt in karate. He was in a karate at some point, and people would ask me, "Oh, you're not scared of him?" I'm like, no, I'm not scared of him. Like, I don't think he's gonna do anything. But because, you know, other people were, because he had stabbed the guy and he was karate, like, so I don't know. He did always seem to have to kind of one up. So I could see how.
Yeah, and I heard about that too, that Stephan Stearns had stabbed somebody before. So like the violence that he inflicted on Maddie, which wasn't stabbing, but it was very cruel. It was just as bad as stabbing when you choke somebody, that when you asphyxiate them, or strangulation. It's very personal when you do that. But yeah, it's not the first time that he's inflicted serious bodily injury on somebody else. But let's keep going.
You know, he wants this guy to think that him and his mom are cool, so he'll tell that guy what he needs to. Yeah, like it's insane. It's crazy. Like I said, you know, not even like a year ago, he had reached out to my ex-wife.
Okay, so that's where we left off. All right, so we're getting the context. He wasn't talking about it prior to that. Just want to address 877 Swiss Miss in the chat. I think she's been having an issue becoming a member. If you're using an iPhone, I believe that the membership button isn't readily available on the page, as with people who are using Android phones. For iPhone people, depending on what model iPhone you have, you may have to go on a computer to become a member of the Strategic Eyes Show. You may have to find a computer, go on youtube.com, find a channel, and then become a member that way. If Aki's still in a building, she can go ahead and post the link to the membership, and that will help people as well just sign up for the membership. All right, let's keep going. He's talking about the ex-wife now that apparently Stephan Stearns reached out to. Let's see what he has to say about it.
And I had told a friend like that I was telling this about. I told the friend, look, well, at least I know this guy, you know, at least I don't have to worry about my wife,
beta,
you know, bringing my kids to meet her new boyfriend, and it's some weirdo that I don't know, and, you know, out of nowhere, you know.
Beta.
And Stephan, I know Stephan, and I was okay with that. You
wow,
know?
Yo, that's some straight beta shit, bro. That's some cuck stuff. But let's keep going.
Okay, whatever. You want to talk? You want to hook up? Cool. At least I know the person who's going to be around my kids, right? Apparently not.
Yeah, and obviously you didn't notice anything awkward with him and your kids either. Just
wow.
No.
Wow.
Nope.
It makes me wonder if you picked Jen for her particular mental.
Yo, this this dude allowed his wife to get smashed. Well, not allowed because he doesn't have a choice, but he was okay. He was okay with his wife getting smashed by his friend. That's crazy. Big shout out to Jules from Sydney. First of all, Jules from Sydney is one of our new moderators. She's so dedicated to show, such an awesome person, especially on the back end, helping me out with sourcing material and stuff like that for the show. Jules, I'm giving you a special shout out because you are important to the show. You're new moderator to the show, assistant Aki. Aki's been doing such heavy lifting on the show. She needed help. She personally chose Jules because Jules is awesome, and I concurred with it. So yes, thank you so much for moderating Jules. Jules dropped the membership link, so look for Jules's post if you want to get that membership link out there. And Aki also dropped it. And Aki, do me a favor, if you can, pin that to the chat. Let me see if I can do it. I just got so much to do over here as the host. Pin the message. Perfect. So I just pinned Aki's message. So if you want to become a member of the Strategic Eyes Show and you're having problems finding that membership button on your phone because maybe you're using the iPhone and for some reason the iPhone doesn't show the membership button as well, you can go ahead in the chat and just hit that link that's pinned. Aki's pinned with the membership. You can join that way and you become a member of the Strategic Eyes Show. Professor Vona has become a new member of the Strategic Eyes Show. We appreciate you, Professor Vona. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And Jojo for Shosho has gifted one membership to a lucky person. Miss Tina0918 is now a member. Thanks to Jojo for Shosho. So make sure you thank her, Tina, for giving you that membership. And Doreen Rick is now a new Jack member of the Strategic Eyes Show. We got a lot of members. Guess what? In this one stream alone, 31 new members. 31 freaking new members in this one stream alone, ladies and gentlemen. This one stream alone, and guess what? I got energy. I've been reinvigorated. We're going to stay here as long as you want. No, we're not going to stay here that much longer, but we're definitely going to be here for at least 30 more minutes because we got to get through this, all right, guys? So, yes, please subscribe and become a member of the Strategic Eyes Show. And to everybody who is a member, we do appreciate you. And we have 404 likes, man. That's big. That's huge. Thank you so much. Let's keep going.
Issues that she has, so that he could get close to... I mean, if you were thinking back now, did it seem odd that he was dating her because of how she was? Just now, if you think about like him dating Jen, does that make sense? Or?
I mean, I never questioned it. I was never like, oh, well, why are you know...
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be in a relationship with this person? Like, you know, I know people.
I mean, but you was okay that he was smashing your wife. I wonder how your ex-wife feels. And she knows that she had, this P file in the box. That's crazy. You was sharing a bed with a P file, with a really, really nasty individual. You sharing a bed with a P file. It's just horrible, man. It's horrible stuff. $5 from super sticker from Sassy Frass. Of course, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. She didn't know. Not like she knew what he was doing and still got with him. But I think it's just a level of betrayal a little bit. There's so many people in the world that one could be with. I just personally think it's a level of betrayal. If you were married to somebody, you get a divorce, relationships don't always work. It is what it is. And then you start dating that person's friend or even a relative. I just think it's a level of betrayal. I think it's inappropriate. There's a lot of people in the world. You can find somebody else, especially with the advent of the internet, where you could just go on a website and find somebody. And especially as a woman, it's not hard to get a man, whether it's just as a friend. It may be a little harder to get a relationship, absolutely. But if you just want a paramour, you just want somebody to, wrestle in the bed with, it's not difficult as a woman. You just put yourself out there just a little bit, and us thirsty ass men, because we're all thirsty, when we're single, we'll just jump and pounce on you like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. You just want to roll around? Yeah, I'll be that roll around buddy. So you don't have to choose somebody's friend. So I really would definitely look down on the ex-wife, and I look down on Stephan Stearns, that they were friends with this man and they decided to start hooking up. That's really low class and low rent to me. Now, some of you in the chat may have done that. I don't know you, and I'm not judging you. I don't know your story. My opinion means nothing, all right? I'm just telling you how I feel and the energy I bring to this world. I would never sleep with a friend's wife. I would never sleep with a friend's ex-wife. I would never sleep with a friend's ex-girlfriend. I'm not into the notion of community loving. That's disgusting to me. Anyway, we keep going.
People who are bipolar. My dad's ex-wife was bipolar, and she's all over the place. Does that mean nobody should talk to her, nobody should be in a relationship with her? So I mean, I just kind of, okay, cool, you love her. Well, what I was saying about I've been to the house, so like when I heard that he was staying in a different room or something, they were broken up and he's still living there in a different room. Like, this is a condo. And it wasn't, when I was there at least, it was not just Jen and Maddie and Stephan in this condo. It was Jen's family as well. We were not allowed to go anywhere else in the house except for Jen and Stephan's room. And Maddie had her own room. The rest of the house was not common living area.
Okay,
her family was watching TV in the living room. We were directed upstairs into the back bedroom.
So there isn't really another room. So he probably. To me, it seems like it wasn't like he just told people they weren't. They were broken up, is what I think.
So that's what it seems like. But like I said, their relationship was always on and off.
Right. So we do have a hard cutoff for the show because I have to turn off the stove at 3:30. But we're not going to stay here till 3:30. So I do have to turn off the stove at 3:30 because there's some chicken in there. So mommy's cooking some chicken. So that will be a hard off for the show. All right. All right. So this is what I want to do. All right. When I dissect these things, I like to do two things. Either A, I like to listen to it cold and dissect it, or B, I like to listen to it and kind of like get a grasp of what's happening and then give my commentary. There's no telling on how I like to do it, but I'm not feeling this format right now because I don't know, because this particular video, this is my fault. This is not GHI, this is just my fault. I chose the video where he just did a collection of all the videos together. And I don't want to focus on, I don't want to bounce around from person to person. I want to listen to each person, kind of dissect what they're saying. So, I'm sorry, I get the hiccups. I'm going to end this segment right now. So this one we're going to end, and I'm going to wrap the show up. I'm going to wrap it up. Before I do that, though, I want to see if there's any documents that I wanted to show you guys that I didn't get to see. What I'm interested in, guys, is there's a Poodle People podcast that Deborah Stearns, I'm saying this very clearly so that you guys can understand what I'm saying, that Deborah Stearns did, where she spoke about her marriage as well as poodles. I would like to find that podcast. If anybody knows where I can find that podcast, please hit me up on Strategic Eyes with a Z at the end at gmail.com. That's Strategic Eyes with a Z at the end at gmail.com. So I can do a video with that. That's very important. I think it's a very important interview that she did. I'm finding it hard to find it, and I would like to elicit the help of you amazing people. There's some really good detectives out here who can help the channel out by leading me in the right direction. So I appreciate it if you can help. If not, it's perfectly okay. The other thing, I want to definitely close the show out by going backwards and once again showcasing Alison, Julian, chao or cho. Some people are saying chao, some people are saying cho. We have to find this beautiful little girl, 15 years old, missing, ladies and gentlemen. 15 years old, missing. This beautiful little girl has been missing, and we want to find her, okay? We want to find her. She's been missing since July 16th. It's been a long time, guys. She's missing since July 16th. The only way we're going to find this girl is if the community helps find her. So I want to close the show out with Alison, Cho, or Chao. I'm saying both names because I want to get it right and I want people to hear it both ways. She's from California. She's been missing. Let me do one better. Let me take that poster down and let me put this up so you guys can see it. Missing since July 16th. Last seen 5:32 p.m., 1732 hours. Last location 200 North Yanez Avenue, Montgomery Park, California. She was wearing purple t-shirt, black shorts, dark shoes on a blue GT mountain bike. The bike has not been found, ladies and gentlemen. The bike has not been found. There is no proof of life, no proof of foul play, no proof of anything. She literally has disappeared. That means whoever took her and the bike, or they took her and some bottom dwelling cretin stole the bike, found the bike, and is off with the bike and is not saying anything about it. If you have that bike, you're not going to get in trouble. Explain to people where you found the bike. I'm pretty sure the family will let you keep the bike. Call local police and say, hey, listen, I found that bike on the corner of blank. So at least they can understand where is the last place this child was seen. I'm guaranteeing you guys, because it's hard to take a child with a bike, and that's a big mountain bike. She had a very expensive big mountain bike. Most likely, if she was abducted, her abductor did not take the bike. The bike was left behind, but somebody took the bike, and that person has pivotal information and evidence that will lead in the finding of this child, because that is the last place that child would have been, where that bike is found. And if the police know where the bike is found, they can do a canvas for video and witnesses, and they can look for who went in and out that area where the bike was found. Even if there's no cameras in the exact location where the child was taken, you can expand that canvas and you can start looking at the cars that drove past where the last camera is that leads in that location. And you can at least get an idea of what cars were in that area. You can start looking up those license plates, start looking for those cars. So whoever has that bike, because I sincerely doubt that her abductor has the bike, whoever has that bike has pivotal, super important information as to the last whereabouts of this child. And I want to also remind you guys, 2 hours previous to her disappearance, a Latina child was almost abducted by gunpoint 45 minutes away from this location. That abductor is still on the lam. He has not been identified. He is still out there. 45 minutes prior, he pulled out a gun and tried to abduct a child the similar age as this beautiful little girl. What a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. What a coincidence that 45 minutes later, this little girl goes missing. She goes missing. Or 2 hours prior, and 2 hours later, she goes missing. And the distance between these two children was 45 minutes. All within reason. In terms of the time frame where this person could try and abduct this one girl who fought like hell, was able to get away. He had enough time to travel to where Alison would have been and to possibly abduct her as well. I don't want to think the worst, ladies and gentlemen, but sometimes you have to think the worst in order for people to be motivated to go out there and do the best they can. I believe this child is in imminent danger. I want people to feel like this child is in imminent danger so they could go out there and do their best to try and help find this child. That's all I got for you guys today. Big shout out to everybody who contributed to the chat. Your engagement is what helps the chat be shown to a wider audience. I know I got a little crazy today. I was talking smack. I was cracking jokes. I was having a good time. It was a really long work week. And you know what? It's therapy talking to you guys. I feel good talking to you guys. So, you know, sometimes I'm going to be the button-up strategic that's acting like I'm on a crime scene. Sometimes I'm going to be the joking strategic that's from Harlem, cracking jokes with you guys like we do. It is what it is. All of that is who I am. It all comes together and makes me who I am, the person that I am. So I hope you guys had a great time. I hope you had an entertaining time, because at the same time, I am trying to entertain you as I give you this traumatizing information. This stuff is traumatizing. If you watch too much true crime, you need to go sit down and talk to somebody every now and then and decompress. I'm not saying something is wrong with you. What I'm saying is that you are digesting traumatizing information. I think I might want to consider that in my day job, I deal with such traumatizing stuff all the time. And then I come on YouTube and talk about traumatizing stuff. I need to decompress, but this is my way of decompressing in some type of way. But we all need to decompress. This is really heavy stuff, guys. It's really, really, really heavy stuff. So sometimes you're going to get the jokes out of me because that's me decompressing. That's me expelling all of this trauma out of my system. That's how I'm expelling it, by joking and having a good time and talking to you fine folks and seeing the hearts in the chat and super chats and the likes and the memberships and all that. I'm decompressing right now. And I hope you guys find your own ways to decompress from the stresses that you have to deal with in your life. So guys, it was a really good show. Please consider becoming a member if you haven't become a member yet. Please consider donating to the channel if you can. If you can't, it's perfectly fine. Everybody has their own situations going on. We definitely understand it. I love you guys immensely. I see you guys on the next one. Before I go, I'm going to leave Miss Chan's picture up. I'm going to leave it up. So let me bring it up. She'll be the last thing that you see. So guys, see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.